Hi everybody, welcome to my video today. I want to share with you another way that I am changing up this little home decor piece. So this, you might remember, I did a Valentine's Day video using this. So this is from the Pocket Frames, and it is, I think We Are Memories did this, and you can get them in several different sizes. I actually picked this one up at Tuesday morning, but I believe they were selling them at Michael's, and you could get an 8.5 by 11, so it was bigger, and then this size. And it's really cool. It has these magnets, and so the top just comes off, and then this slides out, and then they have kits that you can get the different pieces to do different things, to decorate different ways. So I did this one for Valentine's Day, and so for Valentine's Day it looked like this. And then this is the one that it's the original piece. And so now I thought I would do one for fall. And the fun thing is that this one, just, you can fit it in the back here. And I think the one that I'm gonna do right now will fit in the back as well. So we'll see, but that's kind of a cool feature that if they're thin enough, you could store it there in the back. So all I did is use this as a template to cut all of my stuff. And I just took some cardboard. This is what comes in our designer paper, the specialty packs. So I cut that down, and then I have this piece of wood grain paper, and you can get that in the Good Taste designer paper, is where you're going to be able to find some wood grains. So now what I'm going to do is just take some glue for this first layer. And I want quite a bit of glue on here because I want this to really stick down. This one might be empty. I might need a different. This one I think is new. There we go. So I really want to get this right up to the edges. And then by using the liquid glue, you're going to give yourself a few seconds to kind of adjust the paper. If you just use a tape runner or your ATG gun, you're really going to have to get it down properly the first time, where with the liquid glue, you can see it kind of wiggles around and you can get it in there. Perfect. And then I'm going to set this aside, and I'm just going to put a couple clear blocks on it. Hopefully I'm in camera. Okay, so I'll set that aside. And then this piece here, I am going to do some stamping on it. And then I'll show you how I'm going to decorate it for fall. So the stamp sets that I'm using today are quite a few. I'm using Harvest Hellos because we need a pumpkin. I'm using Daisy Lane for the flowers. And then this is what I'm going to use for the sentiment. And then I'm using all the punches that coordinate with that. So the daisy punch, the pumpkin or the apple punch. And then I'm using this here. And then these are the colors that we're using, just some fall colors. So Cajun Craze, Bumblebee, Pumpkin Pie, which is more of an orange, that's kind of faded, and then Garden Green. And then I'm going to do some white embossing because for this stamp set here, I just want the sentiment. And I just want to do Simply Thankful for All Good Things. And we want embossing powder for that. So let's get our Versamark and then my white embossing powder. We're going to put this on a block. Just like so. And then we're going to use the Embossing Buddy. Has this powder in it. It's okay, we're gonna wipe that off in a second anyways. So we're gonna do that up in the corner. And this is just some basic black cardstock. So let's do our sentiment. So right into the Versamark first, not into the white powder first. And you could use your Stamparatus or your Misty if you wanted to get this really perfect. I think I'm just gonna try to wing it and see how I do. And so then we'll come in with the white embossing powder, and I think it looks pretty straight. I'm kind of getting this all over my workspace. Yeah, it does. I don't know about you, but I get super nervous when I'm using embossing powder because I feel like it's gonna dry before I get the actual powder on there. And so I'm always really nervous. Okay, let me grab a dry brush, and we're just gonna clean that up a little bit, and then we'll use the heat tool to melt this. Okay, so we have that, and it did not melt all of it. Okay, so then what I'm gonna do is I just have a baby wipe that I use to clean my table, and I'm just gonna lightly brush this across the black cardstock, and it's gonna take off any of that white powder. I'm just very, very gently brushing that over there. And then what I'm gonna do is take a white gel pen. I'm using a Signo white gel pen. And I'm just gonna go over some of these spots that what happens is it melts into the cardstock. And I'm not great at melting white embossing powder. I tend to hold it on, I hold my heat tool kind of on the cardstock too long, and sometimes that can melt that embossing powder into the cardstock. And so I just like to take a white gel pen, and any place that I feel like maybe melted a little too much, I just clean up the edges. And I used to not like to emboss because of this, because I felt like it just never looked how, when I watched videos, like it never looked the way it did in other people's videos. And so I felt very discouraged by it. And then I was watching somebody's video and they did this trick, and I was like, okay, I can totally do that trick. And I feel like it makes me want to emboss more. I love the look of it, but I just feel like I'm not very good at it. That word got a little smudgy. That's okay. Okay, and then let's just wipe that off. And then this piece here now should be good to go. Bring this piece over, and we're gonna put this right here. And again, I'm gonna use that liquid glue. Well, actually, you know what? I really think that I probably should use Stamp and Seal Plus. I have so much on my desk, you guys. It's a disaster. But I think that this will be stronger. And I don't need to, it won't be hard to get this centered right away. Hopefully that didn't smear. Nope, it did pretty good. Okay, so we'll put this right here in the center. And you can just rub over that black cardstock, and it should take off most of that powder looking, but it's okay if it doesn't, because it can look almost like a chalkboard. So we have these pieces. So then let me show you what I've done. I've done a couple of these daisies. I've stamped and cut out a pumpkin, and then I've done some Wink of Stella on there. I have some leaves that I've done. And then I wanted to show you how I created these. And I've just used my sponge daubers to add some interest to the edges. And then what I did with the green is I opened up my garden green and I took old olive cardstock and then I put my dabber in my ink, and then I just went in and started dabbing this darker green onto the old olive. So it really created some contrast, and it looks a little bit messy right here, right? Like you think that doesn't look very good. But what you can do, two different things you can do. These here, I did not do this next step. The next step you can do is take your Wink of Stella, and the Wink of Stella will activate the ink and smear it around a little bit more. And it'll blend it and give it some shimmer. And this Wink of Stella is just about empty. Or you cannot do that and just punch, and then when you use this and you punch this, you can't tell that it's messy. Do you see that? Like you can't tell that it's just these kind of messy pieces in there. I'm gonna do one more glittery. Okay. So now these, I didn't use Wink of Stella. I just used the green on there, right? Okay, so now let's finish putting this together. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on the pumpkin. Hopefully you guys can see me. Hopefully I'm not too crooked. I'm filming on my phone because I just needed to get it done. I didn't have time to set up all my filming equipment. So I'm just gonna take some dimensionals and put them on here. And I'm not necessarily too worried about things falling off because it's not going through the mail or anything. This is just gonna be, you know, sitting in my living room. And so it's a little bit, you don't have to be as careful. So I'm just gonna stick this probably right here. And then we're gonna stick a daisy there. And then I want one here. And these are pretty thick, and I've rolled them up, so it gives it a little dimension there. So, and I am going to use Seal Plus to add all my pieces. And we want some to tuck underneath and some to tuck above. And then I think this is inside. Let me see. So before I press that down, what I'll do is just slide this in and make sure that it's all going to slide. And it is. So that looks good. Okay. And then I have, I've done all these pieces here. I had a little leaf. Here it is for the pumpkin. And so I can add this. And then you get the idea. We're just going to add these layers. So I have Occasion Craze leaf, and that will be perfect there. And I laid this all out first before I started filming, but what I'm noticing is it's sort of coming out really different than what I had originally done. And then this, I think originally, actually, I think I had this one down here. And then we're gonna add some of the greenery. And some of this I'm not even having to stick down as I'm layering things. Like that. And then maybe this one. Maybe this one on a dimensional. So you get the idea. You just want to fill in some of these gaps. And maybe this goes on top there. And then for this, I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue here, just to the bottom. And then we'll stick it in here. And again, just pull up these and press them down and layer them in. For this one here, so there's a little bit of glitter there. And so what I'm going to do is stick this other glitter one on here. Just get my snips. Snip this off. I might have needed to use the smaller daisy. I feel like I need something down here. So I have this dish full of leaves that I've cut out so that I can just grab it. That might be too much Cajun. Well, maybe another Cajun craze right here. Oh yeah. Okay, so what I do is I just take a sponge dauber and I take my Cajun craze and I really wanted to darken up these edges. A lot of times I don't add so much ink, but I really wanted the edges to be really dark. And then I'll take this and do it kind of right down the middle. And then let's go with just some liquid glue. And we'll tuck this underneath here. And actually, I think I want it like so. And then same with this green. So now let's add a little bit of green there. And then what about a little bit of green here on the bottom? And then we'll stick it back in the piece and see how that is looking. Okay. Oh, and then I'm gonna have to cut this leaf. Yeah. So we'll flip this over and we'll just trim off this piece. Like so. Maybe no, I really think that that might be okay. And then that is how it will look, and I'll set that out in my living room. The only other thing that I was thinking about doing, you guys know that I always like to add a couple rhinestones or even some sequins, and I might do that just to fill in, maybe right here and a couple there, and then that might be it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. You can see the final project in the photo that I will share at the end, and you'll see if I add any sequins. And I loved how this turned out. You could make this into a card as well. The design would work well in a card. You would just scale things down a little bit. So thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you guys later.